How's it going, guys? It's Eddie from What the Pop, and today, now since we're about to finish the first month of the year, Funko has been doing a lot of things coming out. I know they just put up the London Toy Fair, and that one I'm gonna be doing in a separate video later on in a bit. I'm probably gonna be trying to rush that as soon as possible, so that way at least you can all get a chance to see what popped up and get a chance of what came out. But this entire but I do know for a fact, I know this is a little bit too late, but there's still certain pops a lot of people hope to try to see coming out this year. Could be from video games, animes, movies, TV shows, so on and so forth. But this list in particular is my most wanted animes to hope to get more of either a pop releases or more expansion into it. It just varies on the anime in particular. These are going to be 10 animes. They're not listed on popularity. They're not listed favoritism for me. These are just animes that I feel like they could go ahead and get some interest, but it depends on the audience without that. So, number one that I would highly would go ahead and try to put is Hunter x Hunter. This anime really brought a good part of me back to anime. I wasn't one of those animes I wanted to say, oh, it brought me back to anime. No, like, I was already going back to anime for a while now, and I've been trying to explore and see what other ones are coming out. I know when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, the newest adaptation that has already ended. That one I first started watching it on Netflix, and I know on Netflix it got to like close to like almost the very end of the series, but then it cut off. I don't know if it's because of just licensing or what, but luckily for me, I was able to catch up to it thanks to Crunchyroll. Not a sponsor, just to tell y'all, but I did love the fact of how the story ended. Was not the best way, but still overall ended up in a good pace. For this one, I would just say at least the main cast for now. So that way, at least you can test the waters into it. I know for a fact I would probably put the entire cast. After all, the entire cast is basically 4 main characters. And then you can put in the villains and everyone else you can go into. So I hope, I really do wish that I could see that happening. But of course, it just depends on Funko. And it depends also on the licensing. Next is Blue Exorcist. This one touched more importance to me about just the way how it is about family-wise. Especially since they're basically just 2 brothers taking care of one another. Since the very beginning. And I don't want to spoil anything about it. But this is an anime I highly do recommend people to go and watch. The first one should be in Netflix if I'm not mistaken. The first season is up in Netflix. I know the second one is on Crunchyroll. But I really do highly recommend to go and watch it. This one, I would just say put in the 2 brothers for now as the main pops. And depending on interest, you can go ahead and just put in more of the cast and see what people like and what people don't like. Next one, not last but not least. Next one. This one, I really do hope they do. This has been my number 1 anime that I've been hoping Funko to put more, or at least put more focus into it, especially since it's a small anime. But I feel like this is a really good start anime for other people who are willing to look into animes, looking to see what they would like to watch, what is into. And that for me is Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann has been the first anime. It was the first anime that I've watched in a really long time. I think it's been like 3-4 years I haven't watched an anime. And then I got to watching Gurren Lagann. And it gave me back that inspiration into it. I just love the storyline, the characters as a whole, to go ahead and do it. If I can get Gurren Lagann, and even if it's a 6-inch or a 10-inch pop, I'll be willing to drop the money for that. But you can still put in just at least the 3 main characters into it, so that way, like I said, just public interest. I know Simon would probably get some interest with that. But my lord, that anime as a whole, I really do recommend. If you're really looking to start ahead and start watching anime, or you would like to go ahead and watch an anime, I really highly recommend Gurren Lagann. It's on Netflix. The entire season is on. Well, no, the entire series is on Netflix. It's also on Crunchyroll. So if you haven't gone there to watch it, I would highly recommend it. Next is gonna be Case Closed. This is a really old anime to the point where I'm willing to say it's not as long as One Piece, but I'm willing to say, how is this anime not have ended? There's still popping up episodes left and right to the point where I'm just like, wow, they maintained a lot from this many years, and they're still kicking it. They're not compared to a lot of fanware compared to like Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, and so on and so forth. but it's still a really good anime that I highly recommend if you want to watch a lot of intense moments that could make you question about a lot of stuff that you want to go and do. Well, not really question about yourself, but just question what the morals of certain people are and what they would do for just their everyday lives. The next anime I have is, I say it's a really low key anime because I haven't seen that many people talk about it, but I hope people can go interested, and it's Overlord. It just finished its third season, if I'm mistaken, during the fall of last year, and it already caught up to the third season of My Hero Academia. I know when I first started watching My Hero Academia, Overlord was barely hitting. Overlord, without that, was barely hitting Crunchyroll, and I've been going and watching every single episode on the day of the release. Without that, there's days where I may not get it that day when it watches, but I'll watch it the day afterward. Thank you, Crunchyroll. Not a sponsor at all, just to tell. But I really do highly recommend it. This is what I really hope. Overlord is really what I hope Sword Art Online would turn out to be, but it didn't. But now that Overlord is here, I basically can put Sword Art Online in its own category. But I'm still happy about the performance, the storyline, and character development as a whole. It's just top of the notch. I'm not gonna lie. If you're gonna look into something like that, I would highly recommend it. As far as I know it's on Crunchyroll. I don't know if Funimation owns the license to it. I think it does, but you'd be more happy to check. This next anime is really questionable with the pop releases. It's really questionable because of the design of two of the two main characters' the suits is what I'm willing to question about, but it is Kill la Kill. I watched this anime last year. It's in my top 10 that I watched last year. Not all time, last year, and I'm willing to say that I'm really happy of everything I've seen so far. Like I said, the only thing I'm hoping for is they do the two main characters. It's just the design of the costumes. It's really not family friendly. I'll just leave it to that. But then again, most animes are not family friendly. There are some that are dedicated to it, but there's some that are really not. This is one of those where I would not bring the kids to watch this one. But even still, then I'll let you all go ahead and see it and give it a try and anything else and see what it is. Next one is an anime that's really dire to me and my girl as well, and it is Assassination Classroom. We both love Koro Sensei, which happens to be somewhat of the main character of this entire anime, but he is a key point without a doubt into it, and the way the different faces and the way different colors that Koro Sensei is would make it a really good possibility of them expanding, like making certain exclusives to it, or just providing different variations of the character as a whole. That's really a good starter off into it. I know for a fact a lot of people will probably more know about Assassination Classroom because of Koro Sensei, but I really do highly recommend this. Unfortunately, at the time when I was doing the list and I was looking through my Crunchyroll list, Assassination Classroom is unfortunately already out of Crunchyroll, more than likely because Funimation's already taking out a lot of their animes out of it because of the Sony deal. But hopefully they at least keep My Hero Academia. Crossing my fingers, but we'll hope and see if it's still there in Crunchyroll. Next, it's really building up this anime and it is Black Clover. I really like this one. Just the fighting scenes just build up, and it feels like they are going more fast paced than you anticipate them to go and do, and it really just emphasizes a lot on just how you have to give credit to the staff, the writing team, the design team, the animation team, everyone at whole that has built this anime from the ground up deserves basically an applause of all their hard work and everything that they've done, and I feel like they deserve a lot more than what I would say to myself, but I still say they all have done a tremendous job and anything else. I would just say just start off just the main cast and anything else. I would just say 2, 3 just to go ahead and start off with. I know for a fact they'll be quick sellers without a doubt, but it's just like I said, majority of the pops that I'm saying are just for test wires than anything else. This next anime already has 4 pops. And I'm not gonna lie, I hope they continue making more. And this one is Digimon. Let me be more specific. I'm not talking about Digimon Tri. I'm not talking about the other series of Digimon. I'm only talking about the original Digimon. When it first started off. I hope they can do the rest of the entire cast as long as they were the digital monsters. And the thing I hope they would like to do the most is the their evolutions. I hope they do it the max a 6 inch. They are not really big. Some of them are really big to make a 10 inch without a doubt. But I would say just stick with. I would say do. There's certain Digimons where I say like okay make them the 10 inch, and then the other ones who are really actually smaller in size you can put them in a 10. You can put them in a 6 inch, or you can just put them in a regular 3 inch. But overall design and well this anime as a whole it's really precious to me because when I was little, I was watching between Pokemon and Digimon at the exact same time. I know a lot of kids grew up going to Pokemon. I know I did. I stayed with Pokemon when I was out, but I still have a heart for Digimon. It's an anime I watched when I was a little kid, and I still would love. I probably would show that to my little kid once I ever have one, and I really hope that they do expand more into it because I just don't hope they just stick with those four. There's just so much more they can do with it. Um, these last two are just not really out of favoritism than anything else, but they have been really really good animes. Especially since I already watched. Well, this next one is I already watched the movie. I think the fighting scenes are better in the movie than they are in certain episodes of the anime, but that's more I'll take. But it is the Seven Deadly Sins. Yes, I get it. It's a Netflix exclusive. Yes, I get it. They take long to go ahead and post it, but think about it like this: majority of animes take long as well. Think about it. I think Fairy Tail took like 3-4 years before they can put up the newest episode. So like, I just say at least just start off with the Seven Deadly Sins. And you want, you can also put Elizabeth Hawke, so that way you can just be like, hey, look, it's literally the entire cast. I don't see any of these guys doing more than just the 3 inches. The only person who I could potentially see a 6 inch, which I highly doubt, could be just the demons, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'd just say stick with just the regular cast and just put him in a regular 3 inches. The only one I'd probably be there was only one of the sins I'd be highly concerned. I wouldn't want to spoil it, but I highly recommend you watch the anime, especially now since season 2 already got out during this fall. So I really do highly recommend you go watch it, especially if you have a Netflix account. After all, if you're willing to expand your anime searches, I would highly recommend it. Next, this is literally the last of these because this anime literally messed up my mind. Not only mine, but my girls, without a doubt. And it is Death Parade. I know a lot of people know Death Parade because of the theme. I'm not going to be singing the theme. This anime has questioned a lot of people on their actions, their behavior, and their overall thinking. It does a way where it makes people act to the truest forms when they are in the worst situations in their lives. And I really think I would highly recommend this to people who can't withstand taking a couple of blows to one's true self, because it does a lot. It really does a lot. Pop wise, just the two main characters for now. Then depending on, of course, preference and interaction, you can go and expand it more. But overall, these are the 10 animes I hope they can go and do design. There was an anime I was going to put it in here, and it was going to be Persona 5. But I was going to put that more in the video game category. But now I have to take that one off because this is a spoiler for my next video that should be coming out tomorrow without a doubt. Today, the latest. It should be today, earliest, tomorrow, the latest. But it's just a whole discussion about talking about all the pops that came out today on the London toy. I forgot what the entire thing, but it was the London event that was gonna appear and the designs of certain pops on media. I'm gonna be giving my overall critique on the pops I liked. If I don't mention the pops, it's because I don't have knowledge of it. than anything else. If I'm not saying I'm dissing those pops or those 5 stars or those Dorbs or those mystery minis or what, or those Funko pens. I'm not gonna be doing that. I'd rather just stick that to the side. I will also discuss the pops I don't like, which is rarely little. There's overall that I've seen, I only saw like 2 or 3 that I didn't like. Everything else was like swing to the ballpark and anything else. But yeah, overall, guys, that's just the end of the video. The link in the very bottom will be my PPG current list of all the pops that I have, which would be 75 pops and a couple of mystery minis, a couple of Dorbs in the past. But overall, that will be currently what's my current list. And then starting tomorrow, I should be putting up the video about all the pops that recently just came out, and that will be